an original podcast from podlatino.com.
Rugby is more than a sport in the Pacific Islands. It is culture, identity, and community. In nations like Fiji, Samoa, and Tonga, rugby fields are everywhere, from beaches to village greens. Children grow up with a ball in hand, and talent flourishes naturally. Yet these small nations with limited populations and resources have punched far above their weight, producing some of the greatest players in the history of the game. In this episode of Beyond the Try Line, we uncover the story of the Pacific Warriors, how rugby became their gift to the world, the challenges they face, and the spirit that keeps them fighting. Fiji, Samoa, and Tonga each have their own rugby traditions. Fiji is perhaps the most famous, known globally for its mastery of sevens rugby. In the shortened format, Fijians have dazzled with offloads, sidesteps, and pure flair. The Fiji Sevens team has won multiple World Series titles and delivered historic Olympic gold medals in 2016 and 2021. Their style is joyful, expressive, and breathtaking to watch. Sevens rugby is not just entertainment. It is a national treasure. Samoa and Tonga, meanwhile, built reputations in the 15-a-side game. In the 1990s, Samoa shocked the rugby world by reaching the quarterfinals of the 1991 and 1995 Rugby World Cups. Players like Brian Lima, known as the Samoan Terminator, became legends for their fearless tackling. Tonga, too, earned respect for their physicality and passion. The sight of Tongan players performing the Sipitau war dance before matches remains one of rugby's most powerful images. What unites these nations is the spirit of the Pacific. Rugby is woven into daily life. Matches bring entire villages together. Players are seen as ambassadors, carrying the pride of their families and communities. For many, rugby is also a pathway to opportunity. With limited economic prospects at home, talented players often move abroad, to New Zealand, Australia, France, or England, where professional contracts can change their lives. This migration has created both triumph and tension. Pacific Island players have become stars on the world stage. Jonah Lomu, born to Tongan parents in New Zealand, revolutionized rugby in the 1990s. More recently, players of Pacific heritage like Manu Tuilagi, Semi Radradra, and Charles Putau have electrified audiences. Yet many of these stars end up representing other nations, not their islands of origin, due to eligibility rules and economic pressures. For Fiji, Samoa, and Tonga, this has often meant losing their best talent. The financial challenges are immense. Rugby unions in the Pacific Islands operate on tiny budgets compared to Tier 1 nations. Travel costs, infrastructure, and player wages are constant struggles. Corruption and mismanagement have also been issues. Despite these obstacles, the passion never fades. Volunteers sustain local clubs, communities raise funds, and players sacrifice for the jersey. In recent years, reforms have given hope. World Rugby has changed eligibility rules, allowing players to return to represent their countries of heritage after a stand-down period. This means that stars who once played for New Zealand or Australia can now represent Fiji, Samoa, or Tonga later in their careers. The creation of the Fijian Drua and Moana Pacifica teams in Super Rugby has also provided professional pathways while keeping players connected to their roots. The impact of Pacific rugby is global. Their style has influenced how the game is played everywhere. Offloading, running rugby, and fearless creativity, hallmarks of the Pacific, are now central to modern rugby. Coaches around the world look to the islands for inspiration. Economically, Pacific players contribute massively to foreign leagues. Culturally, they bring vibrancy and diversity to rugby communities across continents. Yet perhaps the greatest legacy of the Pacific Warriors is their spirit. Despite limited resources, despite losing players to richer nations, despite constant struggles, they continue to compete with pride. When Fiji beat Australia in the 2023 World Cup, it wasn't just an upset. It was a reminder of the island's enduring strength. Every time Samoa or Tonga take the field, They carry not just themselves but the hopes of small nations with giant hearts. Behind the try-line, the story of the Pacific Warriors is one of resilience, joy, and identity. They remind the world that rugby is not owned by the richest or the strongest. It belongs to those who play with passion, community, and love for the game.